So, welcome back, everyone. So, this is session 20 of Prevent Type 2 Diabetes. Today, we are going to talk about what to do when your weight loss stalls. And as Miss Rebecca said, this is something very common that happens. And today, we're going to discuss, or this evening, we're going to discuss ways that we can overcome that and get back on track. So, before we start, we can spend a few minutes going over what we discussed last time. I know it's been 2 weeks, so last meeting, Miss Annabeth Roberts discussed on how to stay motivated. She reviewed with how far you have come with making any lifestyle changes with your diet and fitness, and how to, stay motivated, keep that goal in mind to push forward and go further with your lifestyle changes. So, does anybody have any questions about last time or anything? All right. Okay. So, when weight loss can stall, that's another challenge in itself. Um, just remember that this program mainly is about lifestyle changes, and I think sometimes you can get caught up, how much weight have I lost, and we view weight loss as progress when in all, any lifestyle changes that you make is good progress. So taking action when your weight loss stalls can help prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. So this evening, we will talk about why weight loss can stall and how to start losing weight again, how to get back on track. And then at the end, we will make a new action plan. So many people who make lifestyle changes find that pounds quickly. At first, when you start making those changes, you notice the weight fall off quickly at first. And then all of a sudden, you start to have trouble losing weight. Their weight slows down or even stalls. So one thing to keep in mind is this is normal. It's normal to have periods of slow weight loss. And the next thing I want to remind everyone, something very helpful to keep in mind if your weight loss is stalling. You don't have to lose a ton of weight to lower your risk of type 2 diabetes. For every 2.2 pounds lost, the risk for type 2 diabetes is reduced 13%. So just think of how you lowered your risk if you lost 10 pounds or even 5 pounds. So anything you lose, your risk is lowered, and that's something to keep in mind. It doesn't have to be a ton of weight. I think that was something, when I read that, it really hit me. That's very awesome. Just a little bit will help lower your risk. All right. So on the handout, this is a Miss Roxanne's story, and I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs. So Roxanne is at risk for type 2 diabetes. Her goal is to lose 22 pounds. So she starts eating well and being active. During the first 6 weeks, Roxanne loses 12 pounds. That's an average of 2 pounds each week. But she loses just half a pound during week 7, and she doesn't lose any weight during week 8. So I know that sounds familiar to some people. So the first thing to get in your head is when you feel like your weight is stalling, the first step is to figure out why. Step back and maybe look at your tracking of your what you're eating every day, your fitness. First thing is to step back and figure out what can I change? What can I do differently? So now we're going to discuss what are some reasons our weight loss can stall, and we're going to figure out why. Have you stopped tracking your calories and fitness goals? You've lost weight, but your calorie requirements are lower, but you haven't adjusted for this. With weight loss, you've lost muscle mass, and that has reduced your calorie needs. In later stages of weight loss, less water loss. So one reason your weight loss may stall is that you're not meeting your eating and fitness goals. So how can you find out if you're not meeting those goals?
Some may need to start tracking again or actually take pencil to paper and double check on their portion sizes, the calories that they're taking in. They may have kind of drifted back into eating more than they meant to or thought they were, or something of that nature.
Right. Um, I mean, even just looking back at your last 2 weeks, it doesn't have to be a lot. Looking back at your activity, maybe you haven't been able to exercise as much. I know with the type of weather we've had recently, maybe you haven't been active like you used to be. And, I know thinking back on my tracking, I I always eat a bedtime snack and I shouldn't. So that's one thing that I need to stop because that can pack on the calories the later you eat. And my favorite bedtime snack is a oatmeal cream pie. And I usually don't eat a lot of sweets, but that's 300 calories. So that's something definitely that I need to cut out. So your weight loss may also stall because you've lost weight and haven't changed your eating and fitness goals to match your lower weight. And I have another slide that I'm going to go into a deeper detail about that. So why do you need to change your eating and fitness goals when you lose weight?
Sometimes the requirements are reduced from what they otherwise would be. There's a calculation to determine how many calories per day to maintain that weight. And of course, the old formula of 500 less calories a day, 3,500 less calories a week for every pound, in theory, if it were just perfect math only,
Right,
has to be
right.
considered.
So the less you weigh, the less calories you need to just maintain your weight. So in order to lose weight, you either need to take in fewer calories or burn more calories. So that means you need to change your eating and fitness goals. So in other words, you need to readjust your calorie intake to your new and improved weight. All right, and like the third option said, your weight may also slow down if some of the weight you lost is muscle, and we don't really think about that. So, muscle burns calories even at rest. So, when you lose muscle, you don't burn as many calories. And then, number four, the later stages of weight loss, less water weight. So, finally, when your weight loss may slow down once you're no longer in the early stages of your lifestyle changes, when you first start cutting calories to lose weight, your body loses some water. So for most people, weight loss slows down once they stop losing water. And I did not know this. When you cut calories, your body at first burns stores of glycogen, a type of carb that contains water. So only after you stop losing this water weight do you start losing body fat. So there's different things when you start making lifestyle changes, your body changes. And sometimes you just need to make little adjustments to get back on track. And then the main thing is, just to be aware of what your body is doing so you can make those changes. Understanding your why. So once you know your why your weight loss has stalled, the next step is to make a plan to start losing weight again. So let's say you find that your weight loss is stalled because you're not meeting your eating and fitness goals. Remember, it's normal to get off track with these goals from time to time. Different things in life pop up that you may not control, and then you may get sick. There's just different things that may happen. But the main thing is we're going to figure out why, and we're going to get back on track. So the important thing is to get back on track and prevent similar lapses in the future. So how can you get back on track? To get back on track, stay positive once you figure out why and use the 5 steps of problem solving. Describe the problems that you got off track. Maybe, like for me, I know it's my bedtime snack. and come up with other options for solving these problems. I know with me, my family, we eat supper way too early. I would be eating supper right now. And it's just because with our kids and having to do homework and getting everything in order, it just makes sense to eat early, and that's why I get hungry. But I'm going to try to start eating around 6 to see if that will help. So choose the best option for you. What would be easier for me wouldn't be easy for you. And then make an action plan and then definitely try it, see if it works. So you've lost weight and your calorie requirements are lower. So I don't know if anybody has this handout, so I'm just going to read Roxanne's the rest of paragraph 3 and 4. So before she lost weight, Roxanne weighed 168 pounds. She needed 1,750 calories a day to stay at the same weight. Now that Roxanne weighs 156 pounds, she needs just 1,650 calories a day to maintain her weight. That means her daily calorie needs have dropped by 100 calories. All right. So let's say that you find that your weight loss is stalled because you've lost weight and you haven't changed your eating and fitness goals to match your lower weight. Before you can set new eating and fitness goals, you'll need to find out how much your daily calorie needs have changed since you started this program. So what are daily calorie needs? It's the calories you need to maintain your weight. And there's a bunch of different charts, but I put this one right here. So I took this calculator that was on the other slide, and I put in mine just to kind of give you an idea on how it calculates. It has maintain weight, mild weight loss, and then weight loss. So you just basically put your age, your gender, your height and weight, and activity. And if anybody needs a copy of this, you can jot it down, but this is a really good calculator. You can just plug it in and it'll adjust your calorie intake for you. So if you lost muscle mass, your calorie needs reduced. And all right. So, and on page, I know you may not have the handout, but on page 4, it kind of shows Roxanne graphing her weight, and sometimes that can help you. If you plot your weight, you can see the changes. And her weight basically leveled off. So her daily calorie intake before she lost weight was 1,750, and now it's 1,650. So she just needed to decrease her calorie intake by 100, which if you really think about it is, not that much. And when you get your calorie intake, it may not be as much. Just eliminating a snack or, decreasing a carbonated beverage with all that sugar. I mean, just little small changes can really build up. So since Roxanne's daily calorie needs have changed, she decides to set new eating and fitness goals. She makes small changes in her lifestyle to cut an extra 100 calories each day. So just keep in mind, this is her goal, but everybody's goal is different. So let's think of how could Roxanne cut those 100 calories just at the top of your head? What could you think of ways you could cut 100 calories?
Just smaller portions.
Yes, definitely.
They make a lot of those 100-calorie snacks that are kind of individually packed. So if you happen to possibly eat 2 snacks a day, sometimes it's nuts, sometimes it's little cracker-like things, you could simply reduce one of those. It's 100 calories.
Right. And I think on your handout, it has 25 snacks under 100 calories. So that would be definitely something to utilize. And I'm a stickler for having things in my hand that I don't have to think about a snack. If I just have something to review, it's easier for me. All right, so she could take in 100 fewer calories, burn 100 more calories, or do a mixture of the two. So what could she do to burn more calories?
She could park farther away from the door or take the stairs instead of the elevator. Try to get up every hour and move around for about 5 minutes. Just simple changes throughout her day.
Right, definitely. And you can easily fit those in that you may not think about. And how could she build her muscle?
Certainly, she could do some of the strengthening exercises, the small weights, the stretchy bands.
Right,
That she could do even, on breaks at work or at lunch. If she had them at work with her, it wouldn't even require a trip to the gym or anything of that nature. It could be done just, kind of incrementally throughout the day.
right. And I put this, let me, we'll go over that. So I put this picture up of, different things that you can do by, just sitting down. Um, I know water bottles is a very good thing if, to, if you don't have weights or, that's something handy that you could do, but just some leg exercises if you have a desk job that you can stand up. All right. So here is some helpful tips and tricks. We discussed about reducing her intake for the 100 to 200 calories per day, swapping coffee for green tea, which contains fat burning compounds. Eat more fiber. And sometimes when you eat more fiber, you get fuller quicker, or you don't eat as much. And eating several small meals throughout the day. And then one thing that definitely we don't need to do, if you look back at your, your meal tracker and say, "Oh, I didn't eat breakfast that day." Well, that's definitely something, you need to work on, is definitely never skip a meal because it's going to make you hungrier. And then change up exercise routine. If you're only able to exercise, let's say 3 times a week instead of 5 times a week, maybe just increase your activity by 5 minutes. Just make small steps, because sometimes small steps, will add up to the changes needed to burn those extra calories to get to your intake. And then just do strength exercises. If you can't do it 3 times a week, do it 2 times a week. So just small steps will help you get, with your weight loss not being stalled. All right, so we talked about, so now that you've heard Roxanne's story, you may think, well, what can I do? What changes can I make to cut those extra calories or burn those other calories? All right. So if you look at your action plan, we can spend the next few minutes making a new one, but keep in mind that what worked and what didn't work well for you since your last session, because now we're going to be meeting every 2 weeks now. So you may want to, keep that in mind. And are there any changes that you want to make? And also keep in mind what we discussed today and what to do when your weight loss stalls. And as you make your plan, remember to keep it realistic, doable, specific, and flexible. And remember to focus on behaviors. All right. So I'm just going to give a couple minutes to focus on the action plan.
Dr. Rayford, do you have any guidance? I know you work with a lot of patients who are trying to lose weight, dealing with obesity, have had at times their weight loss stall, and at other times them be more successful. What type things do you share with them to help them with action plans and what they can do to improve their stalled?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a lot that people can do. One early thing that I try to, to do when there's time is to help people focus on behaviors, and also to set some non-weight goals. In fact, to have more non-weight goals than weight goals.
Mm-hmm.
Weight is weight is definitely something that we can change, but I've seen that it's less changeable than we want, and so we all end up pretty unhappy when that becomes a singular focus.
Mhm.
But having non-weight goals like how do your clothes fit, how do your face look, so using things like before and after pictures, measurements, trying on different clothes, um, those things can kind of help demonstrate progress, even when the numbers on the scale doesn't. And so um, it's actually there's a definition for a weight plateau, and that's usually the same weight for about 3 weeks. Most people are so frustrated with the same weight about 1 week that that it's hard for them to make it to the 3 week point. And there's there's some guidance as far as like what do you do. For some reason, sometimes you change it up. Sometimes you just do nothing, do the same.
Mhm.
And then other times, there's been, and I'm just quoting from Noom. Noom talks about, what to do in a weight loss plateau. So, intensify things, just, stay the course. Or in some scenarios, particularly in people who've been trying to lose weight and they're in these cycles of weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, weight gain, having those people just take a break,
Right.
just, eat in a non kind of take a diet break
Mhm.
and just kind of allow their body to just, because the reality is when we lose weight, our metabolism goes down, but we also have a decrease in our metabolism when we purely cut our calories. So there's a detriment in our metabolism from just cutting calories too. And so it may be really frustrating that people find themselves in a scenario where the weight change, they don't see the weight change when they're for all the efforts that they're putting in.
Right. And then focusing on how they feel. You feel better when you make those lifestyle changes.
One thing I ordered for the fellowship and we'll have available, and certainly it's welcome to the community. So any community attendees can attend. We'll be having a walk the last Friday of this month on the 28th at 1 o'clock, just at the walking track. We'll do one each month. But I have ordered this special kind of scales. I think it's called Fit something scales, but it helps you with some of the beyond just the weight, some of the other parameters. And then we'll have some measurement devices, nothing required, but if anybody wants to uh, weigh on these scales, there's an app that you can download that will help you track, and you can weigh in on these scales every month when we offer this walk through the fellowship. So it'll be an interesting way beyond just the weight. And I forget what all it does calculate. Seems like somehow it calculates percentages of uh, different aspects. I should have looked it up before I mentioned it, but the scales have not come in yet for me to test them out and see what all it does. But it looked very interesting that it would be a different way or different measurements that folks could consider.
All right. So, in summary, definitely, if you need to make some changes or if you need help coming up with an action plan, definitely glad to help. And if anybody needs that link about reducing your calorie intake, but you can find that anywhere online. There's apps and all kind of stuff. And on the handout, there's different ways to burn 100 calories, 25 snacks under 100 calories, and ways to take in fewer calories. So these are really good, helpful tools if you are having issues with that. So, does anybody have any different thing they need to add to anything I said, or comments, or questions, or anything? All right. So, does since nobody has any questions or anything. So I think we'll go ahead and end this meeting, but just to recap, we discussed how taking action when your weight loss stalls can help you prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. We talked about why weight loss can stall and how to start losing weight again to get back on track. Next time, we'll talk about the things you tried at home, including your new action plan. And I think next meeting is to reset your fitness. I think Courtney is presenting the next one in 2 weeks. Basically, she'll be talking about how to, get up every 30 minutes and make sure you're doing some form of fitness activity instead of, just stalling and sitting there, but get up and moving. So that will be what Courtney will talk about in 2 weeks. I want to thank everybody for coming to this session. And there's Miss Rebecca, is there anything else that we need to discuss or go over?
No, I'll just remind everybody to please send in their weight loss amount, their weight, and their activity amount that we track in the usual way that you've been doing that. And remind everybody that this is recorded, so if they missed, I know we have 2 or more people on vacation this week, they can go back and watch the PowerPoint and the presentation, and the handouts are still located right beside that particular day's topic. So if you need to, I tend to have to print out the handouts and put in me a binder. So those handouts are right there where the link to join the session is. So we'll see everybody in a couple of weeks. I think it's like the 25th of May. So it'll be the week before Memorial Day. So we'll see everybody then. Y'all all have a good evening, and we got you done in time to get in a good walk this afternoon.
Thank y'all so much.